Hi, and welcome to my brand new debut video of the Vintage Collection Collector, or TVC Collector, as you can see on my YouTube. Um, just trying something new. I've been a TVC collector since the very beginning in 2010, and I even collected the VOTC in 2004 and the Vintage Saga Collection, which was in 2006 and 2007, until they made it officially, you know, proper in 2010. So anyway, I love TVC. I collect. I'm a displayer. I'm a carded collector. I'm a grader. I do a little bit of everything. And so I wanted to try my hand at my own YouTube video. This may or may not go well, but we're going to give it a go because I just wanted to talk about TVC. And so we talk a lot about what's being sold on the secondary market when it comes to TVC 1.0, when it comes to new releases, and also along the way we'll have other discussions that I want to have with just the history of TVC, card variations, new releases, whatever that comes up TVC wise. So without further ado, let's get started. This is for the week of March, about 8th through the 15th that I'm looking on these eBay prices. And so I just wanted to cover some of the things that have sold recently just to give people an idea of where TVC is at. TVC is not going away, no matter what naysayers may say. TVC sales are all day, every day. It's the heart and soul of 3 3/4 inch collecting, and Hasbro and certain representatives of Hasbro has said it's not going away. And so, at any rate, let's look at these prices here. We have a Haslag Cantina. This is just the basic. It's not the full deluxe one, but it's sold without the figures for 215 plus $100 shipping, so that's 315 by the time it gets to your doorstep. I had another price point on this as well. This one sold for 259, or at least it was listed for 259. Once again, this is the base version, but it was 246 is what was accepted on it. And then there was another price point for another day earlier that was basically the same thing for 237. So just so you know where you're in that price range, you can get one from 245 to about 300, for the basic unit. Um, if you're still looking for a cantina with no figures. So moving on, let's look at the Cantina figures themselves. So people have been selling these separately. This one sold all five of them for 389. I have another price point where this one sold all five of them. They listed it for 400 and $10 shipping, but the best price accepted on it was 350. So that's 389 to 350. That's the price range you're going to be in there, getting those figures, those Cantina exclusive figures. Which, if you break that down between divided by five, you're looking at about 75, give or take a few bucks, but $75 per figure. Now, just the Tonicas themselves, they're still selling for about 150. So here's another price point. There's actually one of these that are still available. The seller has two. He sold one and he still has another one. So if you buy all five of them, you're going to get them for 75 bucks a piece. If you just buy the one, you're going to get it for 150 for the Tonicas at the very least. So this next one here is graded. This is a graded AFA 8.5. It's uncirculated, which is pretty nice. I wanted to talk quickly about the variant of this. So this is this is a 1.0 release. It's VCO8, as you can see. And I wanted to talk about the variation on this because this is actually the second release. This is not the first release. The first release had, and I have one. I actually have them all because I'm a variant collector. But you can see here there's no collect all of these figures right above that line right there. So if we go back over here, you can see later on in the second release, they added collect these awesome figures. Another difference in this card is that when they first started doing these, they were using original Kenner cards. So these are the original 80s figures, 78 to 85 figures. And you'll notice that the action figure is standing to the right-hand side. Now, when they did the re-release, they started using TVC figures, and you'll notice that these are the TVC cards, the vintage collection cards, and the figures are standing to the left. So there's a lot of card variations out there. Even when you're, using the same card, Empire Strikes Back, there's other ones for the Return of the Jedi, which is also VC08. VC08 has a lot of variations. There's European variations. There's probably upwards of 15 variations. And so I won't get into all of that. Maybe we'll do that on another video at another time, but we'll start getting into card variations. But anyway, moving on to the next one, we have here another 1.0. This was a Lumat VC104. 109.95 plus 11, so about 120 bucks shipped to your house. But I have bought from this seller myself a couple of times, and this card's pretty nice. I mean, it looks clean. The cards that I bought from this seller, I didn't have any problems with, so I was pretty pleased with them. I think they're just selling off their collection, and they're kind of like me. They want unpunched, and they're all of their cards are pretty well nice kept. So, but anyway, that's what a going Lumat goes for. Likewise, we had a Grand Moff Tarkin VC98 unpunched, so these things are still riding high. I've seen them anywhere from 125 bucks to 100, in this case 158 with shipping. So that's what an unpunched one goes for. Sometimes you can find the punched ones for a little bit cheaper, but again, if you're wanting to keep one carded that's unpunched, some people like that, some people don't. It's totally a personal preference. Next up, we have, now this is interesting. I have all of these. This is an R2D2. This is the European card. These do not have stickers. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of the American cards, when they came out in 1.0, they sold in Europe and they just put a big black sticker over the back. But there was a handful of these, I want to say about 11 or 12, and I have them all. This is a real card. You can tell because the 4 is in the upper right hand corner. If we scroll down here to the back, you can see the back. This is not a sticker. This is a physically printed card. And I am a physically printed variation collector. If you look at the copyright, this is 2011. So the original run, some of these came out in the end of 2010, but then 2011, they were doing some physically printed cards. So these are really cool. Again, I've collected them all. VC26, the Indoor Rebel Trooper, has one of these. Phi L, I think I'm saying that right. Search is, one of the Attack of the Clones Jedi in the Jedi Arena. He has a physically printed European card. One of my most favorites is the prototype Boba Armor VC61, I believe. That one has an American card. It also has this European card. So if you're a carded collector and you want variations, these are not stickers. So they're really cool. But anyway, this sold for 115. I don't know if it was in Germany, so I don't know if somebody shipped it or not. But if you're over here, it would have cost me 21.50 to get it shipped over here. If it was over there, it's probably a lot cheaper. So about $115, maybe 120 for that particular card. It's really nice. I really love those. Moving on, we've got the Antok Merrick VC204. Interesting thing about this was listed at 150. The best offer accepted was 110. Now compare that to the actual ship that came, factory sealed. So this was 25 shipping, so 175 and 25, so it's $200. And just the figure itself, this one sold for 110. So half of that is the figure. But anyway, this is what they're going for currently, at least in this week. TVCs all over the board. Sometimes you get things higher, sometimes you get things lower, depending on whether it's a buy it now or whether it's a bid situation. But next, let's move on to the Razor's Crest. Razor's Crests are on the rise because of the new movie coming out. So we have the HasLab here. This one was $700, free shipping. Now, I sold one of these way back when, not even probably 6 months after it came back. And back at that time, the shipping was about $55. I don't know if that's the same price or not, but bottom line is that you save 55 bucks for shipping it. I do have another price point here where this guy had it in the shipper box. And so this one went for 550 plus 70. So we're talking about, what is that, about 620 in the shipper box. So there's two price points on the Razor's Crest, but I have seen them kind of all over the board. And again, they had gotten down to probably, I've seen them as low as 425 to 450, and now they're on the rise again because obviously it's coming out in the new movie. So keep an eye on those. You know, they're going to keep fluctuating all over. And there's one coming up on another video I'm going to do, one in Australia and one in the UK. I mean, they went for upwards of 800 US dollars. So I think they're a little harder to get over there than they are over here. Next up, we had this was the 2010 unpunched 3-pack special collection action figure set. This was the Android set, so it had 3PO, Chewbacca. These are really cool when they came out in 2010, but this was 130 plus $8 shipping, so about 138 there on that. All right, next up we have a VC 194 Shadow Stormtrooper, which this is a graded CAS 95. Now, it's not my key character, you know, and being a this Luke Skywalker, it's a gaming grade, but man, a CAS 95, that's pretty nice. That's Collector Archive Services for those of you who are not graders, and they do the tri grading, so you know the card 95, blister 95, figure 95 straight across. So some people prefer CAS, some people prefer AFA, but for 100 and let's say $20 shipped for a CAS 95, that's a pretty nice figure right there. Next up, we also have another gaming great, which is also the CAS 95. It's a VC 196 Scout Trooper. So let's look at those subgrades. So here again, you got straight 95s all the way across. So those are two really nice figures that are really, really minty. 95 is about as high as you're going to get in graded figures. Next up, we have a CAS 85. This is the Droids, 50th anniversary Droids. I think these came out in like 2021, I believe. Target exclusive, so there was R2D2 and then the C3PO with the collector coin. So that one's 185. It's pretty nice. Then let's move on to some ghost figures, just to get an update on what ghost figures you're going for. So 220 and another 10, so about 230 shipped. And here again, if you buy in all four, you know, and you break that down to all four figures, that's about 55, 60 bucks, somewhere in there. Versus if you buy them individually, you're going to pay a little bit more for them. But then I've got a couple of prices. Now the Ghost, man, the Ghost is all over the place. This one here was listed for $650 with $80 shipping. Now the best offer accepted on this was $550. So $550 plus another 80 bucks for shipping. That's $630 with no figures. Okay, this is just the ship itself. $630 for just the ship. Over here, we got one for $532, $533, free shipping, and it's got all the figures. So that is a huge difference between somebody that bought just the ship with no figures for $630 versus $100 less, and this buyer, got the entire ship with all the figures for $533. Likewise, there's another one that was $595 plus 70, so what is it, about $665? This one was brand new with all the figures. Then lastly, we had one here for the best offer accepted on this one was $535 plus 705, so about $610, and that one obviously included all the figures. So the first buyer didn't do so hot. The other three, you know, that's about where they're at. So, you know, about 600 bucks with the figures. Do not overpay for just the ship without the figures. Moving on, just to do some other ships. So we had this is a 1.0 Rebel Snowspeeder. These are really cool. This box is not in great condition. I mean, you can see a big crease across there. It's got a lot of edge wear, but it did sell for $105.50 plus another $16 shipping. So we're looking at about $121 for that ship. Just to kind of give you an idea of where they're at. Here's another TIE Fighter, which was the Target exclusive. These are all 1.0 boxes for the most part. And again, this one was not in super pristine condition. It was better than the Snowspeeder, but you can see a lot of edge wear around it and whatnot. But anyway, that goes for $120 shipping. The TIE Interceptor is the big boy. That one's $320 free shipping, and even this one had issues. Like you can see right here, there's a big ding on the box right there. There's a corner edge wear. There was another one that I saw. You can see right here, there's a pretty significant crease. Um, right here, there's some peeling on that side. So anyway, I mean, here again, this one's a lot cleaner than the other ones, but not perfect by any means. But the Interceptor goes for about 320, and I have seen them in the shipper box. So really mint crispy sealed shipper boxes for about the same price. So if you're going to buy one of these, unless you're planning on opening it, I would kind of be patient and try to find one with the shipper box. Next up is a B-wing. So in the B-wing here, we got 157 plus 80. So here again, what is that, about 170 for the B-wing? Again, not a very minty box, but decent enough if you're not going to open. I mean, ooh, this side's really bad. So, but that's what they're going for. Uh, the TIE Fighter, Walmart exclusive. So this was 2018. The rest of those ships were 1.0. This is when the line came back in 2.0. So, but even still, the TIE Fighter going for 120 bucks. I mean, for the Walmart exclusive, and it looks to be pretty decent. I mean, you have just normal shelf wear on this, but I don't see any major damage with it like some of the other ones. So, a little edge wear right there. But anyway, the next one is this Toys R Us exclusive. So this came out in 2013. I believe, if memory serves me correct, this is like the Biggs version of the X-Wing. Because in Legacy Collection 2009, there was a Wedge Antilles, and then, the Luke Skywalker came out in 2018. This one, I think, is Biggs. Anyway, I have one of these. My wife bought it for me at that time, my girlfriend. She bought it for me for my birthday. So, really cool present. Anyway, this one's 120 plus 35 shipping, so you're looking at 150 for that one. And then the last two I had here was there's a Scout Walker. This was the Kmart. This is the 1.0 Scout Walker, so not the re-release that we just had a couple of years ago in 2023 for the 40th. But this was the Kmart Scout Walker, and this one also went for 125. Now I noticed on the back here there's a big old reduced sticker on the back, so I wouldn't pay that much for this with a sticker on it myself, but hey, some people like the sticker. And then the last thing I wanted to share with you was I thought this was pretty interesting here. So this person was selling a whole bunch of the 4-packs, right? So you got the Rebel uh, Fleet Troopers, you got the Shore Troopers, you got the Hoth sets, you got the Sand and regular Stormtroopers, and so on, and even 4 of the Mandalorian troopers. So that went for 480, and so that's a total of 32 troopers altogether. And if you divide all of that out, what was it? It was free shipping too. So if you divide all that out, that's about $15 per trooper, roughly. So, but anyway, again, TVC is alive and well. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. I plan to do more of these videos. I plan to get better at these videos, hopefully, because I just sit here and scroll eBay a lot. And again, I want to talk about variations and other things. My channel, I'm doing all of my own producing, which I'm having to learn on the fly. So again, that will get better as I go, doing graphics and intros and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed spending time. Please like the video, subscribe, and if you want to engage in conversation with me in any way, you can comment on my videos or you can email me at uh, the vintage collection collector at gmail.com. I'll have new videos soon, and we'll see you then.